Welcome back. We're going to continue our talk of hockey and mention the NHL AllStar Game. Now, this, I know you guys are smirking, but I got to ask you this question. You look at the game and the way it's played, granted it's nice to see all these All-Stars, but it's half-hearted. There's no real competition there. They're just having fun, and it's not what you would expect as, say, in previous All-Star games. But it's still fun for the fans. Do you guys think that there should be any improvements made out there, or are you just happy with the status quo with the way the NHL handles the All-Star Game?
Well, if you look at the group sitting here right now, how many of us actually watched that All-Star Game? Because I know I never did.
Oh, not even close.
All I know is I had the TV on, and I occasionally turn around to see it.
The game was watching me. I wasn't watching it.
So I think it's fun for the fans that are there because there's so much star power. But at the same time, you're still a lot of times not even getting the best players. Sidney Crosby wasn't there, and he was injured, right? So you're still not getting the best, and you're not getting the best product on the ice. They're not. It's a nothing game, and I think they need to do something to make it worth something.
I think you get more out of the skills competition the night before than you do at the game itself. And I get it. It's a showcase of the National Hockey League, and at a market like Columbus, it's awesome how the fanfare is and how the fans get behind it. But as for the quality of the game, really, I saw more intensity in a noontime hockey game than watching, the NHL All-Stars.
Well, what do you suggest that they should do? And I know, Taylor, you said this, that maybe there should be a little more incentive. Perhaps do they take the Major League Baseball's route when they say, you know what, the winner of the conference will host home ice for the Stanley Cup Final? Is that something that's realistic?
Well, yeah, possibly. And I don't like how they do that right now and how they select their teams. I know it's kind of fun and it's funny. Who's going to be the last guy who's selected? He wins a car. What Ovi did on Friday night was kind of funny, but I rather go back to the conferences. I rather go back to that and have something on the line. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go as far as to make home ice advantage for the Stanley Cup, but even if I heard a great interview the other day, they talked about making it a charity game, and the winning conference or whatever winning team, they get the majority of the charity money to go to whatever charity they choose. So maybe then they're playing for something, at least something, rather than just going through the motions and it not being much of a competitive game. I think there needs to be something for them to play for, and because right now it's not for Team Taves or Team Foligno.
All right, guys. Well, how about this? This weekend actually produced some great news from the hockey level, especially if you're a World Cup fan. Now, they haven't had a game like the World Cup of Hockey since 2004. Much like the Canada Cups, of course, they're quite thrilling. They're planning to bring it back in 2016 with a bit of a twist. You will have your 6 standard teams, of course, your Canada's, USA's, Sweden's, Russia's, etc. But there's going to be 2 different teams, a North American team mixed with players from Canada and the United States, under 23s. So the Connor McDavids will most likely be on that team. And then you look at the other side of a team Europe, like Slovakia, Germany, etc., these smaller countries that will now be joined up. What do you guys make of this, and do you think this is a gimmick or something that, you know what, could rival the Olympics?
See, I don't really want it to rival the Olympics. I absolutely enjoy that Olympic tournament, and I don't know that it can take its place. And then you mix in, like, I think it's a bit of a gamble having that 23-year-old team, because if you think about it, they're probably going to get smoked the whole way through. And so then what is the benefit of it, and do they belong there? That's going to be the conversation, not so much about these rising stars. It's going to be like, do they belong at this tournament? And I like that baseball went to this World Cup. I think hockey's kind of bringing it in too late. And I think the Olympics is the way to stay.
What's going to happen through this all, though? The Olympics, it's a great event, and it's, it has everybody from the world competing. But the bottom line for that is the NHL makes no money off that. NHL Player Association make no money off that. So it's basically how many players in the National Hockey League get 2-3 weeks off, and the rest of them go to the Olympics. So those players having the time off are loving it. But the bottom line is the NHL makes no money, and the players make no money off the Olympics, but they will off the World Cup of Hockey. Thus, I can see the end of the Olympics coming for National Hockey League players going.
How about this? Second half of the NHL season begins tonight. moving on to that, you got some great storylines. The New York Islanders have been playing fantastic hockey. You look at some of the teams, the great playoff pushes, the Winnipegs, the Calgarys, that sort of thing. You look at where Montreal could be. Could they be that dark horse to maybe make a cup final? There's a lot of great, like I said, storylines. Which one to you has the greater impact and one that we should watch for in the second half of the NHL season?
I'm real excited to see something happen in Winnipeg. I think those fans deserve it. I think they're hungry for it. And if Winnipeg can make it and potentially get a home ice advantage for the first round, I think that rink is going to be incredible. And I think they deserve it. And I think the fans would love to see that happen. And for me, that would be pretty exciting.
I think the two, Whiteout and Winnipeg, if they make the playoffs, will be fun, just like the old days with the Jets. And then in Calgary, could be the Red Mile again. So two markets that are just craving NHL playoff hockey, and very good chance they'll get it. The other question mark right now is the LA Kings. Right now, if they started the NHL playoffs, they wouldn't be in. Do the Kings have enough in the tank right now to just hit that switch and play great hockey right now, right to the end of the season? Because that's what they're going to have to do just to make the playoffs.
Very quickly, the Waste Management Phoenix opens it up. Tiger Woods is going to be making a return as he RSVP'd for the event. His first game since, of course, the injuries and missing his tooth after getting knocked out by a camera guy after visiting his girlfriend. Well, guys, let's put it this way. What Tiger Woods will we expect? Are we going to see a guy who's going to struggle to make the cut, or perhaps one that could win this event and maybe kind of build off that?
I don't think that. I think he's got the potential to win the event. I mean, he is Tiger Woods. He's got 16 Masters. He's been a pro his whole life. I think he has a chance of winning. I don't think he will. There's just too much good talent in the PGA right now. I don't think that he'll win. But there's lots of things to look for him coming to this tournament, and what kind of Tiger we're going to see. Who knows? He's been working on his game, new swing, things like that. So potentially, who knows? I'm excited to watch him play because I've always liked Tiger Woods, and I hope that he does well.
Yeah, the PGA shirt, hoping he does well. And if not win, at least be there and competing on Championship Sunday and wearing the red like he always used to do. If he is, then the PGA's loving it because it really comes down to dollars and cents for Woods. If he is competing and he is winning, that means more and more sponsors, means more and more money to the PGA, more and more viewers. So that's what the PGA is hoping for. Does he have enough right now? You got to remember there's a lot of players that he's going to be competing against this weekend that have been going at it for weekend after tournament after tournament. All of a sudden he's just going to come in and try to compete against these guys. It won't be that easy.
All right, guys. Speaking of dollars and cents, Greg, we're going to have to pay some bills when we return. We're going to come back with more Gloves Are Off, over under next.